Welcome to Slightly Better. I'm Kelly, and today we're talking about happiness. Happiness. What's that? Okay, so I've already had to restart this because I have my baby monitor on for my 6-year-old. By the way, let me just turn this off. The sound is killing me. Does everyone use a monitor still for their 5 and 6-year-old? I don't know, like what age do we stop? I want to know what's going on. I'll probably never stop using one. Okay, anyway, I want to talk today about happiness, and I think I'd be doing everyone a disservice if I didn't acknowledge that it can be pretty hard to feel happy sometimes, especially when it feels like every time we become conscious of something happening around us, it's completely tragic or heartbreaking in one way or another. And while I don't want to ever bypass the realities of life, because anything could happen to anyone at any time, so I never want to feel like I'm immune to tragedy or I'm immune to anything, but I also don't want to live in that place when it's not happening to me. And I think it's important to acknowledge the shittiness around us while still finding ways to be joyful in our lives and spread joy to the people around us. And I feel so fucking weird even saying that, because happiness, joy, like for me to even say the word joy feels weird. Like, to be honest, like happiness, joy, it hasn't always been, it's not still, but it hasn't been my default setting as a person. But as I've gotten older, and especially becoming a mom, like things change, right? To put it simply, things change. I was somebody who was extremely attached to, and I've talked about this in everything, extremely attached to the identity of being like surly or whatever. And I only know that word because my like long lost deadbeat dad called me it once, and I literally attached myself to that word. Anyway, I don't generally err on the side of joy for most things, but I have gotten better at it. I'm still working at it every day because I do have a lot of joy in my life. So I'm trying to embrace it. And today I want to share with you guys maybe 5 ways that we can bring in happiness to our life or start to actually feel genuinely happy without changing anything, even if like our lives are filled with stress for whatever reason. I think it's important that we get a little bit grounded and find ways to experience a feeling that might feel fleeting in modern times without having to quit your job, move to Mexico or Bali. I feel like Bali is a good one. Move to Bali, start a business selling necklaces or bracelets on the beach, although that does sound nice. So without having to do anything like that, without having to uproot your whole life, we're going to talk about happiness. I've recently become familiar with somebody named Laurie Santos. She created one of the most popular online courses in the world called The Science of Well-Being. She breaks down on her podcast like how our minds actually work and what actually and truly makes us happy. And so I've been intrigued by her work and been watching her on a couple of podcasts. So I can't get her on my podcast yet, so I'm just going to give you some of the ways she has spoken about happiness and how we can start to use them in our practical everyday lives. So I mentioned that my brain doesn't feel like happiness is a default setting, but the truth is that almost no one's really is, and that's because our brains are wired for survival. Like, as humans, we have something called a negativity bias, and it basically means our brains are always scanning for threats or problems. And, this was super helpful when we were like fighting saber-toothed tigers and shit. But now it means we kind of tend to focus on what's going wrong or what's scary instead of what's going right. So our brains have that negativity bias, which is going to allow it to see the problems first or in a louder way than the good stuff, right? The good news is that brains can be rewired. It can change with repeated habits and attention to something else. We can train our brains to notice more of the good things, more of the positive things, which actually rewires the neural pathways in our brains to make happiness easier for us to access. And so the things we're going to talk about today are simple things that we can do, like small, like practical habits that help us flip the switch from negativity to appreciation and connection. And I know I've talked about this before, and I tell my daughter this all the time, right? Like, the opposite or the antidote to complaining is gratitude. Like, we can always find a problem. I could sit here and think of a million problems. But if I think of something I'm grateful for, or a few things I'm grateful for, it's going to most likely stop that loop, right, of thought, that negativity loop. And we're going to get into this in a moment. But this I had to do yesterday, so I'll tell you a quick story. I've been in like a little bit of a funk the past week or two, and nothing like concerning, right? This happens. I'm just kind of like blah about everything. I don't know. And then so yesterday I woke up like in a mood. You know when you just wake up and you're like, this is not the state I want to be in today. Like immediately I felt anxious. I don't know why. Immediately I was pissed off. Immediately I was like, absolutely not. I just want to like stay in bed for the whole day. And I never think that way. I'm like awake super early every day. So I go upstairs, I make coffee, I'm sitting down to do whatever I'm going to do. And, you know, the negative thoughts are just like punching me in the face. So I'm like, okay, I'm alone with my daughter all day today. I have really nothing to do. I have like one or two, maybe three tasks that need to get done, and none of them are going to take that long. So let me just, I had to stop myself. I was like, okay, first of all, what day is it? Okay. I look at the calendar. Yep, getting my period in a few days. If you know, you know. I know at this time, nothing I'm thinking is true. Do not make a big decision. Do not do anything rash. Don't talk to anybody that you might be a little mad at. So that made me feel a little bit better when I realized that, because you're living in like a world that's not real. So I realized that I had to actively stop this thought pattern right now, or it was going to ruin my day. And I really wanted to have a nice day with my daughter because obviously I always do. So I dropped the pressure. I told myself, get these three things done. And if that's it, then that's it. And then we're going to talk about the next thing I did on this list of 5 things, because it's one of my main happiness triggers, I guess you could say, when I need to feel a little bit better. So I had to stop myself because it was 5 o'clock in the morning and I was already pissed off. For what? For why? So I'm proud of myself because during this time of the month, like, you know how it is. Like, you want to kill everybody. You're just like, ugh, all the time. And I really, like, I hate that feeling. I didn't want to be it. I didn't want to feel it. I didn't want to do it. So I told myself, just do the 3 things and then have a great day. Like, so I planned a couple of activities to do with Charlie. I planned out what we were going to do for the day, and I really stuck to it. And by 4 or 5 in the afternoon, I literally 180. Like, I felt so much better. I didn't even work out. And like, usually working out is like a key part of my happiness. Like, it needs to happen. But my body was saying no. Like, I had not gotten enough rest in many days. And I knew what I actually needed was not to cause my nervous system to like go off again. I needed to help calm it. So working out was absolutely off the table yesterday. I was proud of that decision. Okay, so let's get into the things that, according to Laurie Santos, might help us or will help us feel happier in the moment. And some of these things I'm going to tell you my personal experience on and what I'm doing with them currently. Okay, the first thing is gratitude journaling. Now, believe me, I want to punch myself in the face for just saying that. But it helps. The thing with gratitude practice is that, and what I found is that you cannot just generalize and say, I'm grateful for my life, I'm grateful for my family. Like, that really doesn't help. It might feel good in the moment, I guess, but it really doesn't help. I think we have to get really specific, like something so specific, like I'm grateful for my coffee coming out perfectly this morning. Like, if that hadn't happened, like I would have been a little annoyed. You know, I'm grateful for Joe getting home early and getting to spend the afternoon with Charlie and seeing them happy together. Like, very specific things that you're genuinely grateful for. Like, don't just think of something to write down just for the sake of writing it down. Think of something, and this is what I tell my daughter because she writes down one thing she's grateful for every day. I say, don't just rack your brain and come up with something out of your ass. Like, really think about your day that you're about to have, or maybe the day before. Think about something that made you feel genuinely good. Think about something that makes you feel loved. Think about something that makes you feel like I'm in the right place in the world, or think about something that helps you melt your own anxieties away. Like, anything that feels like you're lucky to have it in your life. So get very specific with that. The act of consciously noticing what's good trains your brain to shift focus away from negative thought loops. So there's been studies done that show that over like a 12-week period, people who kept a gratitude journal slept better, they exercised more, and they felt more optimistic. So it's something that we can train. And like I said, the biggest thing here is to get specific and to be consistent. Okay, number 2, social interaction, even a brief one. So again, it feels weird to even say this because so many people, like I'm 38, so I feel like a lot of people around my age are in this place of I'm an introvert, I'm antisocial, and I've been there too. And I'm definitely like an ambivert, I guess I would say. I love my alone time. I love to be alone, but I get so lit up by a good interaction. It could just be like a brief conversation. Like I had literally a 1-minute conversation with somebody at the gym the other day, and it boosted my entire mood for the rest of the afternoon. Like sometimes we just need connection. Like humans are literally wired for connection, and our current lifestyles are anything but connected, right? We're more disconnected than ever. And we sometimes forget that life doesn't exist in these little screens we're staring at all the time. It actually exists around us. And so the sooner we can remember that, the better. But seriously, don't underestimate the immense power of a brief interaction with somebody, a true, genuine connection, a smile, a hi, how you doing, a text to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Like these things actually release oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone that reduces stress and improves mood. So go somewhere where people are that you might want to talk to, or invite a friend out, however you choose to interact, and it's hard because a gripe that I feel and that I know many other people feel, like we're in our 30s, like I'm in my late 30s, I'm a mom, I don't have a lot of friends, period. But I don't know a lot of other people with kids, especially young kids, especially with a similar lifestyle than me. So I'm personally grateful for finding a small group of homeschooling families around me. And while we may not be best friends, like we all get along pretty well. And I look forward to like hanging out because our kids get to hang out, we get to interact. And it's kind of hard in your 30s to make real friends because I think we're all looking for meaningful connections, but we're too like afraid to say it, right? It feels like dating. It's like, maybe I'll ask her to hang out. Should we get a drink? Would she want to, or would she think I'm a freak? Like, I feel like I'm in high school again, although I didn't even feel like this in high school. So it's funny. We feel that way because we genuinely crave that connection, right? A human connection can definitely help us feel better. Regardless of what our life looks like, having a genuine, meaningful conversation or just like a quick check-in with somebody can help so much. Okay, number 3, being present. Again, I think everything on this list we've probably all heard a million times, but maybe we need to hear it again in order to actually start doing it. So being present, trying to stay present. There was a famous Harvard study published in Science magazine that tracked participants' happiness over thousands of moments. And it turns out the number one predictor of unhappiness is mind wandering. So they found that these people were significantly less happy when their minds were wandering all around, regardless of what they were doing. And I think that's so interesting. So staying present in what we're doing, like really actually doing it, like eating a meal without scrolling, noticing things around you, right? I was at the beach this weekend and I was laying there and I was really trying to just notice the things around me. The fact that it wasn't too crowded, I was very happy about. I was noticing that there was a breeze that kept me cool but wasn't annoying, right? I don't want a windy beach day. I was so grateful for that. I was looking at my daughter just playing in the sand, doing her thing, splashing in the water. Like, I was so grateful that at this age, at 6, now we can enjoy these days and relaxing at the beach is possible again. Because, like with a child who's young, you're just relocating your chaos, right? So there's no relaxing at the beach. I was really grateful for where we were at as a family. I was grateful that I packed a lot of food, just looking around at where you are in the moment and staying in that moment. It's easy for your mind to wander. So at the beach, I made it a point for myself to enjoy the day, enjoy the moment, not let my mind wander about what I needed to do later or the next day or anything like that. I just kept saying, I'm so grateful it's Saturday and we still have Sunday to hang out and do whatever. So you could see that being grateful or establishing a practice of looking for things to be grateful for can actually help you stay present in the moment because you're looking around and you're appreciating what you actually have at that time. And I was really appreciating everything around me at that time: the air, the weather, the temperature, the sun, the people, everything. I appreciated that a group of people set up their chairs seemingly at 5 o'clock in the morning and didn't come and hang out at the beach until like 1, and everyone was mad and they were getting into a little bit of an argument. So I got to watch some drama that I had nothing to do with, which of course is always fun, right? That's why we love reality TV. So staying present, and I work on this a lot being home with my daughter. Like, I'm with her all the time. And so it's easy for me to be doing 100 things at once. And a lot of times I am, but I'm happier when I'm sitting with her or doing something with her. And we'll start a lot of our mornings just sitting on the couch, reading a book, having a coffee. I make her what I call her Charlie Chino, which is just milk with a little bit of syrup and cinnamon. And we just enjoy it together, and we're staying in the present moment. And then she'll go on and talk about how nice it was. And there's nothing more beautiful than that. So staying present, and staying present becomes easier when you're finding things to be grateful for. Okay, number 4, moving your body. We all know this, right? Exercise, just getting moving, getting active. Sitting around all day lets our body stagnate. It lets our mind stagnate. But physical activity has been shown time and time again to be an immediate mood booster, right? Endorphins. When we exercise, our body releases endorphins, the feel-good chemicals. This is a real thing. It's a real effect. These chemicals help fight depression. They help fight stress. Even like a short burst of movement, like dancing around your kitchen. I know it's so corny, but again, I do this with my daughter a lot. We'll just put on music when I notice like we're in like a funky moment of the day. Maybe we're getting a little wool in the afternoon. Like I'll put on some fun music. We'll start dancing around. Immediate mood boost. Like there's no denying it. So moving our body is the fastest, in my opinion, one of the best ways to improve our mood and to feel happier right away. And you don't have to train for a marathon. You don't have to do anything intense, but to start establishing a consistent exercise routine and getting active as often as you can with a daily walk, with a bike ride, anything. Get out into the sun, do something that makes you feel good. There's no denying that it improves mood and increases happiness immediately and even more so over time. Okay, number 5, acts of kindness, acts of service, doing something for someone else. This activates the brain's reward system. Acts of kindness increase feelings of social connection and especially of purpose, which are strongly linked to happiness. And again, it doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It could be something simple, helping someone with something, don't be annoying about it, but like paying for someone's coffee, do it in the coffee shop. Don't do the car thing. That becomes a mess. You know what I mean? Doing something nice for someone else, helping out somebody who's a little confused at the post office. I did that yesterday, and not to brag, but, just little things like that, leaving a positive note for someone or really being active and helping out your community in some way. But whatever you do, just know that kindness is incredibly contagious, okay? And so it has ripple effects. You do something nice for somebody, they're going to feel good. They might go and do something nice for someone else, okay? And this is how stronger and happier communities are developed. It's energy. Energy is contagious. So when we're putting out good energy by doing things for others, we're spreading that energy and they're going to pick up on it and spread it to someone else. That's the hope, at least, right? But ultimately, doing something kind and doing something charitable, doing something good, focusing on someone other than ourselves, taking the focus off of ourselves, in my opinion, I don't know the science behind this, but can reduce stress and reduce the obsession with the self, right? Am I doing enough? Am I okay? Like, what do I have to do next? Me, I. And we can focus on what somebody else needs and how we can be of service to them. We're going to feel happy. We're going to feel fulfilled. And we're going to know that we did something good. There's nothing bad that can come from happiness. There's nothing bad that can come from doing something for somebody else. We're a self-obsessed culture right now. We're all trying our best to get better at this, to do better at that, to do more of this. We're training for that. And I think that's great because the more stronger individuals we have mentally, physically within communities, like I said, that also creates a ripple effect. But I do think that if more people could focus a little less on themselves and using what they've learned through this obsessive personal development to help other people who might not be there yet, not by telling them what to do, but by helping them with things they're struggling with. Even just noticing somebody struggling to pick up a bag and you doing it for them, These are things that move the needle in a real way, in the real world, in real life. And even just focusing on the people in your house, right? I know when I'm having a bad day, like yesterday, when I woke up in a shit mood and I was just like, my mind, forget wandering thoughts, like my mind was all over the place. And so the one thing I told myself I would do, aside from my 3 tasks and just focusing on Charlie, but one of the things I knew that I could do and I would do would be to just focus on my daughter. Like anything that she was feeling up to, I was up to, because I knew it was going to make her day. I knew she was going to be happy about whatever it was she was asking to do. And I selfishly was trying to feed off of that happiness. But putting my efforts into her day rather than trying to fix my own really, really, really helped fix my own. Okay, that was 5, but I'm going to give you a bonus, which is to stop comparing yourself to other people. And I know it's beating a dead horse, but we're still doing it, right? You're on social media, you're looking at things, you're absorbing messages, you're taking in what other people are doing, you're thinking you have to do that too. You don't. Live your life. Do these other 5 steps. Do them often. Do them every day. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Put your phone away. Just put it down. All right, nothing good comes from this thing except, podcasts like this. But seriously, stop comparing what you're doing and what your life looks like to everyone else. Grow up. Grow up. And know that chasing some sort of perfect circumstance is a futile effort, okay? So we have to make the most of what we have. We have to make the most of where we're at. You have to learn to be content and learn to be present and learn to be grateful. And these things take practice. I think a lot of this is a skill. To practice gratitude consistently feels like a skill. And thankfully, a skill can be practiced and developed. So if you're feeling like you need a little bit more happiness in your everyday life, like your day-to-day, but you got stuck thinking you needed to make like a humongous change in order for that to happen, you don't. Okay, so start with these 5 things. Maybe bake a cake. Maybe do something fun. And I think this might become part of a series. I'm not sure yet. I also might change the name of this podcast. I'm not sure about that yet either. Thank you for listening. I feel like I was all over the place today. And I am, because I'm racing against the internal clock of a 6-year-old who hates sleep more than anyone. Okay, have a good day. See you soon. Bye. See ya. Be happy. Okay, bye.